Thank you, Sabine. And thank you, Smithers team. You're really a great team. And it was a big pleasure to building this community with you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Charlene, Sabine, Amanda, everybody, Ellie. You're doing a great job. Wasn't easy, actually, for all of you to come here. Travel was difficult. Some came without a ticket, and I hope everything is resolved right now. So my job is to open the conference, to show you a little bit about the community we have here. 253 people. That is absolutely fabulous. We started actually in 2018. And the situation was a little bit different than today. Back then, there was still Recovered Carbon Black, a handful of crazy companies, and we were on the Carbon Black World Conference. Back then, the carbon black industry didn't really want to have too many recovered carbon black presentations on the conference. So Peter and I, we had actually the honor to present the only presentation. And then I did a workshop, and I think we had 30 seats, and there were 77 people coming. So the interest was very big, and I had a panel. I had some colleagues who are here as well. I remember Scott was there. My mentor, Francois Terrade, was there. Serge Da Silva from Alpha Carbon was there. And Chris Norris. Where's Chris? There you are. And so that was really the start for the conference, because with Smithers, we said there's a topic, and certainly the interest between 2018 and now has increased. We had the inaugural conference in Berlin with 160 people. I think, Sabine, it was one of the best inaugural conferences of Smithers. And then came, of course, the COVID time. We bridged a little bit with online workshop and online conference. And then we had Amsterdam last year. I think it was more than 200 participants, I believe. And now over 250. I think that makes us even bigger than the Carbon Black World Conference. Certainly a hot topic. And I will show you the slides a bit how, who is in here, who is who. There's a big interest now, not only from the tire recycling and the tire industry, but also from carbon black industry. Where does the interest come from? Of course, recovered carbon black is something sustainable. And one thing really, what is sustainability? How do we define sustainability? Is it recycled material? Is it maybe bio-based? Is it maybe a low carbon footprint? Sabine, do we have microphones as well to ask in our colleagues? So what is sustainability for you? Let's get talking already. Who wants to say what means sustainability for you? Nobody? Please, please, please. You all work on sustainability. There is one lady.
Good morning to everyone. I think that sustainability is leaving a better planet for our younger generations. It means that they should at least have access to the same things that we did. But I think we all work in a sense to make this even better for them than it was for us.
Thank you. Maybe another 2, 3 voices. Anybody interested over there?
Good morning, Warren Steele from Carlton Forest Renewables. Sustainability for us is traceability of supply chain, making sure there's accountability within the supply chain. We start there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Warren. Maybe one more. Nobody? I give you one of my definitions. Of course, there's many definitions, but very often in a company, sustainability means we do certain things because of regulatory requirements. And for me, sustainability is actually doing more than is required by regulatory, by laws, by expectation. And I think that is what this community is about collaboration, is about actually doing more than we need right now to have a sustainable product. Of course, and I think Paul from Notch Consulting will tell us a little bit about their market situation a bit later on. In addition to the sustainability, we now, at least in Europe and in the States, we have a shortness of furnace carbon black product. So there's a second business driver to the sustainability, which is plain availability, and which makes that tire makers, rubber companies, and plastic companies, they're fortunately even more open to looking at alternative materials. So we have both business drivers, sustainability, and really availability as well. Let me show you my slides. I'm sure you're using the Vova app, and I want to talk a little bit about the community and then about the industry. So I made an analysis on the weekend. I think we're 254 colleagues. We can contact each other on the Vova app. It's like Tinder for business. We have 180 delegates, 39 exhibitors. We have 31 speakers, and the Smithers team, I think, are 4 people. By business, most of our colleagues here are actually in companies that want to operate a pyrolysis or already operate a tire pyrolysis. Equipment is number 2 with 27 colleagues, 11%. I won't go through everything. We have carbon black, technology, oil, tire. And of course, these are my ratings, how I see the interest of these companies. And of course, I don't know each and every one of you and your interest, but this is my, let's say, my categories of business. What is good to see is there's 2 associations as well. There is research and it's really around community. By region, we can say 69, almost 70% are from Europe, 14% from North America, 13% from Asia or Asia Pacific, because we have colleagues from Australia as well. We have South America and MEA. Germany is the biggest country, 42, and Poland, 28. The biggest teams, actually, Macrochem, with 8 colleagues. Transloader Macrochem, very interested in recovered carbon black. We'll hear about that later as well. Contec, recovered carbon black maker in Szczecin. I got asked very often, can we visit tire pyrolysis plants? And I don't know whether you read my article in the Vova app. There is really only 2 plants close to Berlin, because Berlin is not an industrial hub. Berlin is an administrative hub, German capital, seat of many startups and NGOs. There's not really chemical production in Berlin. So next cluster is Szczecin, and there is Circtec and Contec. And it's great to have Contec here and Christoph presenting as well. Continental, 6 colleagues, very active on the topic, great to see. And Orion Engineered Carbons, also 6 colleagues. These are the biggest teams here in the community. RCB production, quite a number of companies. I've picked the ones where I know that there is production already and commercial sales. So Contec, Reoil being the biggest site in Europe at the moment. Ecolomondo in Canada, of course, Scandinavian Enviro Systems, Pyrum in Germany, New Energy, Hungary, Boulder Industries with 2 sites in the US and very soon a site in Antwerp as well. Circtec already mentioned, Royal or Finster Carbon Black from India, Delta Energy from the US, Polymix Ambiental Brazil, and High Green Carbon from India. One colleague didn't make it from High Green Carbon because of visa issues. I think traveling so far away for conference participation can be quite difficult. There's a lot of carbon black colleagues in here, and it's really great to have you here to see the interest, which certainly in 2018 wasn't as big as nowadays. We have, again, Orion Engineered Carbons. We have Philips Carbon from India. We have, of course, Cabot. We also have Carbon X, which is carbon black, but a special carbon black made on a furnace process with a special feedstock. We have Hyundai OCI. We have Monolith, which is also a special carbon black from methane pyrolysis. Himadri from India. Imeris, conductive carbon blacks. Tokai carbon. We have Omsk from Russia. And we got, of course, Birla carbon. We got the tire industry. You're all waiting for the keynotes of the tire industry, which includes Continental, but certainly also the RCB rubber project collaboration between Michelin and Bridgestone. We got Goodyear, MRF from India. We got Sumitomo tires, Pirelli, Continental, of course, Fate from Argentina. So that's really great to see a smaller tire maker from South America coming here. And we got Hankook, who also have presented that they are using recovered carbon black. Of course, it's not all about carbon black. Normally, recovered carbon black has about 40% mass fraction in a typical pyrolysis. It's also about the oil, which typically is closer to 50%, 49 something, 45%. So here are companies of whom I think they're mainly interested in the oil, which includes Greenergy, Repsol in Spain, Borregaard, BASF, Mog Oil, Accents, Mitsubishi Carbon, Ninas, and Ergen International. One little thing, this comes out of the client work I did, and I really want to show you. Very often we compare the recovered carbon black industry with the furnace in carbon black industry. And I want to show you that actually in the furnace carbon black industry, where you see the history on the left-hand side, you know, things didn't happen very quickly. And I think even recovered carbon black is outgrowing the technology of furnace carbon black. And while we haven't solved all the questions yet, in this group, we have all the people we need to answer the questions. So that's the important thing. And I won't go through every year, but we have 80 years of furnace carbon black history. And of course, the furnace process is the most flexible process, as you know, which can make the widest range of carbon black aggregates and products, ASTM categories. But it grew pretty slowly. In the 70s, a typical site was 40,000 tons. And typical sites, for example, were the Malmö site, Orion Engineered Carbons, that size, or the now closed site of Sines, Orion Engineered Carbons in Portugal. They were like around 40,000 tons output. And nowadays, of course, as you know, furnace carbon black lines are 100,000 tons per year or even bigger. In Asia, we have sites of 150,000 or even bigger. Now, when we look at recovered carbon black, and I go through a little bit more in detail, really the first technologies came up in the oil crisis in the 70s and 80s. Focus, of course, was on oil. The first focus on the black carbon residue was around 2000. Back then, it was called CBP, carbon black pyrolytic, with a small P, index P. And now we have renamed it to recovered carbon black. There's some people who say that actually we need to rename again because we are not recovering carbon black, but it's something else, which actually we need to define a little bit more. We hear about that definition in today's and tomorrow's presentations. First investment of the tire industry, 2014, by Bridgestone in Delta Energy with Bob. There's Bob. Then 2017, looking at Peter, foundation of ASTM D36, where really, which really has changed the game, I think, for talking about analysis methods and looking which analysis methods from carbon black, furnace carbon black we can use and which are not working, and where we need to develop new analysis methods. 2019, the first standard of this working group. 2020, Michelin investment in Enviro. 2020 as well, BASF investment into Pyrum. The average capacity for recovered carbon black last year, when you look at the sites, I would say 3,500 tons, but there's many pilot sites which have around 1,000-ton capacity. And the next noteworthy thing, also 2021, Birla Carbon partnership with Circtec for sustainable carbonaceous materials, which are produced also by pyrolysis, and a lot of good work on this partnership. If we project the industry growth, and I've done a report together with my friend and colleague Paul Eiter at Notch Consulting, the average Northern American and European capacity will be about 13,000 tons by 24. Now I would probably say the industry is a bit late. It's maybe 1 year late. Maybe all those plants that are planned come 1 year later, maybe 25. That is already a big capacity growth. If we stay at the slow growth rate, compound annual growth rate of the carbon black industry, then we would be 30,000 tons per year in 2076. Now, 2076 is a long time to go, but I think the industry will grow faster than that and actually outgrow the furnace industry. Some topics, these are a lot of words, but they're all actually interconnected. And one thing about the industry of tire pyrolysis and recovered carbon black is it is very, very complex. And no matter from which side you come, from the tire industry, you come from finance, you come from technology, you come from tire recycling, you can't really manage everything. So you need to collaborate. For the scale up, we need the collaboration. And the collaboration really is key in all the topics we'll talk about in the conference, and all the topics I will mention here. And collaboration really is about people. So often people ask me, what is the best technology, Martin? And there's many good technologies. And generally my advice is decide for the people first. Connect with the right people, have a good relationship with the people. Actually, technology is not 100% ripe yet, maybe 90 something. There's a lot of work to do, and we need strong partners. And it's not a collaboration between two companies. It's networks and ecosystems. And these ecosystems they are only as strong as the weakest partner. So people are really the key for the scale up of this industry. Another cluster is consistency, test methods, analysis methods, and measurement errors. Actually, this year I had the reflection, now we're defining a little bit more precise what test methods we can use, what are the specifications, but we can only really measure on an industrial system. And then many test methods, we don't really know what is the measurement error, what is the error bar. And then if you have several samples, how significant is the difference between one and the other sample? And this is something we have to learn as an industry, again, in collaboration. Nobody can do it alone. Another cluster is compliance. We have fabulous presentations from Circtec, Rob Harper, and also from Weibold, from Klaus Lahmer about REACH. That's a very important topic, and there's very exciting developments there. Another topic is end of waste and the permitting. As of now, unfortunately, pyrolysis is still in Europe, is still classified as incineration, whereas you can argue that the pyrolysis is not an incineration. We need the heat. And one way of getting the heat for the pyrolysis is incineration. But there is also electrical pyrolysis, for example, pyrum, which you could operate with solar and wind power. So compliance, norms, and specification, another important cluster. One thing I think when we see the industry develop and industrialize, certainly by 2024, 2025, there will be more data about the thermal efficiency of the pyrolysis. So there is a theoretical energy needed to break up the rubber polymers, to evaporate the gases. Generally, pyrolysis companies don't publish this data. This is super confidential. But I think once the industry grows and also consolidates a little bit, that thermal efficiency will be key. Having a good thermal efficient process will actually be a competitive advantage for the companies. And that, of course, thermal efficiency is linked with CO2 emissions and the life cycle assessment, which is one of the important business drivers for recovered carbon black. Application focus, there is really different business drivers in different regions. I see still Asia, maybe South America, also Africa, where recovered carbon black is more an economic product, having a more attractive price. And that is the main business driver because these countries haven't developed the high sustainability standards. However, in the Western world, in Europe, including Japan as well, there are quite a few colleagues here from Japan, and also in North America, there's more developed sustainability standards. So sustainability, ecology is more important than economy. You might argue between ecology and economy, a tire maker wants both. But then again, also we have to realize, and that's my magical triangle of recycling. If we have the sustainability, we have the in-rubber performance, it's unfair to expect a cheaper price also. This is like a magical tire triangle. We can't really cover all three. If we have the in-application performance, if we have the sustainability, we have to realize these materials, they're not cheap materials anymore. They're circular materials and they have their price. And moreover, they have their value more than they have the cost. Industry scale up, this is from our report with Notch Consulting. You might have seen that in some other conferences this year. It's not super new, but 2021, maybe the global production of recovered carbon black is around 73,000 tons. We think that by 24, now maybe 25, when the constructions are a little bit delayed and the commissioning is a little bit delayed, that will raise to 331,000 tons. And the biggest growth actually is where the sustainability is the business driver. Biggest growth is in Europe, actually in Benelux, and more precise in the chemical parks of Antwerp and Rotterdam. So exciting developments. And these are conservative estimates because we haven't really considered all the companies and all the plans of the companies. Of course, every recovered carbon black company, tire pyrolysis company is very active in licensing their technology. Some have very, very ambitious plans. And sometimes it's difficult for industry experts like Notch Consulting and okay, which of these projects will actually come on at the time postulated. So with that, let me close. Let me wish you a great conference. And some are laughing. That's a picture of me. I want to do, and this is my only advertisement in my speech, I want to do a documentary film next year about the recovered carbon black industry. I want to actually, as an industry expert, film the industry. If you want to work with me, please contact me. Now have a good conference. We have really a good conference agenda. Thank you.